Yes, Trent, welcome in. Have a go at the resume, Bill. 306 games, 141 goals. Probably could have topped that up a bit. Three-time premierships.
Good.
2012 Brownlow medalist. 2012 All-Australian. 3 times Richmond best and fairest. Absolutely everything. Koch, welcome.
Thank you. I didn't play much footy, or good footy, to the back end of my career based on those stats. Thanks, Days. But anyway, the team succeeded, so that was what was most important.
You're newly retired. What have you been up to?
Media?
Lots.
Channel 7 show.
I did
used
see
to
that.
come
Yes,
in.
very good.
Actually, it was good.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was probably something that I didn't think I could see myself doing, Bill, but thoroughly enjoyed being part of the panel, obviously supported by both Tim and JB and Joel alongside me. So I had a lot of fun there. Snuck away to Byron with Brooke, no kids. So that was
nice.
Ooh.
How
that
long
was
for?
actually just a week.
Okay.
But a week feels like a long time without the kids. And outside of that, just trying to work out life and what's next, to be honest. So any tips, I'll take them.
Well, you're an author.
Well, yes.
Yeah, that's the other thing you've been
Do you
doing.
call them a co-author when someone helps you write
Actually,
the book?
good man, Glenn McFarlane. Isn't he a good bloke?
He's a very good man and super grateful for the way that he helped me bring my story to life and, a little bit apprehensive, but excited for everyone to read on and hear a bit more about our story.
Did you enjoy the process?
I did. I think initially when you're playing, you're probably like, oh, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. Don't really want to sit down and talk about, 10, 15 years ago. But I think what you do is you're always sort of in the moment or looking ahead as a footballer, as you would know. And it forced me to reflect on the journey. And, there's been some challenging times, there's been some great times. And that's not just all on the basis or on the back of winning games of footy. It's also just the laughs you have in the club rooms. And I think that's what I enjoyed most about the process and all the people that you've come across through your time.
From the Heart, available tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the big day.
Stores
The
online.
only one coming out tomorrow?
Oh, there's another one, but we won't talk about that because it's from the heart. And it is from the heart. It has to be.
It is. Well, I think your book, if you're going to write a memoir, it has to be pretty authentic to who you are and what you stand for.
Yeah,
So
add some mayonnaise along the way. Just add a bit and build
Mayonnaise.
mayonnaise. No.
No.
All truthful.
All truthful.
Yeah.
Because you were made captain at 22, which I didn't realise. That's bloody young.
It's young, and that's the reason I've got a lot of grey hair. But
Well,
I've still got hair.
I see the darks, tan's gone into it.
The tin. I haven't got any tin in there, Bill.
Bullsh.
I've just put a bit of water in it before
Oh,
I came
right.
here.
Again, Bill, this is radio, not a visual
I
form.
know, 22. Fair to say you were pretty quiet and not media savvy back then. So to go in and be captain of the Richmond Footy Club would have been tough times.
Yeah, it was. And I suppose you look at all the successful teams and captains that are around you and playing, and most of them are a lot more mature than you are. And you think you have to be this perfect captain for all the hopes and dreams of your Richmond faithful.
Yeah.
And I did a shit job of it to start with, to be completely honest with you. But it was an amazing learning curve for me. And I wouldn't change it for the world, although I probably think that 22 is probably too young to take on that responsibility. But I think what I learnt and realised was there were so many great people within our organisation that you could lean on that had different strengths to you. And that's probably where my own personal leadership evolved, realising that you didn't have to have all the answers.
Yeah. And the club was in terrible state. I remember Spud, the great Spud, when he coached there, he said there was pigeon poo everywhere. He said it was terrible, the actual club itself.
Yeah, we had lots of possums infesting the club rooms, and I think a cloth or a sheet separated our gym to our change rooms, and then the massage and ice baths were all open air, and roller door would always be open, so you'd have a cold for the majority of the year because our property steward wouldn't shut the door, as much as the late Shane Tuck used to spray him every single day and use some pretty colourful language at the same time.
You do touch on the captaincy in 2016, saying how tough it was. When you went back and talked about that, did you realise how much at the time it was affecting you, or more in the reflection?
I probably knew at the time, like the end of 2016 for me was a moment where I genuinely questioned whether I should be the captain of the footy club, whether I wanted to play footy anymore. So I got to a pretty dark place and probably hadn't shared it with a lot of people other than my wife, Brooke, and maybe 2 or 3 others that within my circle. Because I think as captain, what I thought was that I didn't want to burden anyone with the challenges that I was going through. I was the worst captain. Dimma was a crap coach. He should be sacked. We had a board coup going on at the end of 2016, so we had, them to be overthrown as well. So to think about the transformation that happened from 16 to 17 the enjoyment we had across the year in 2017. And that wasn't just on the basis of winning games of footy. It was just the everyday and celebrating those little moments, which are the memories we talk about now when we get together as a premiership team.
Unreal, isn't it? Unbelievable that. Let's go from there. But I didn't know you were a Cats fan growing up, and I was your favourite.
That is true, yeah. You and Buddha Hocking. And one of my favourite bits of Vision, Bill, and you'll know it well, is when he has the sausage and bread and just down the back of the trailer. It's one of my favourite bits. He probably shattered that I brought that up.
Yeah, no, he would be. He's still carry. Have you met Buddha?
Well, I haven't. Well, I met him at one of those family days.
Yeah.
You know, that's a long time ago now.
So you come down to Geelong, did you? In your Geelong
I think it was at
jumper?
the Melbourne Zoo that year.
Buddha might have been. and you met him.
I met him once there, and then he actually texted me leading into my 300th game, which was a nice surprise. And we've had a few text correspondence since, and hopefully get to catch up in the near future.
He coached Leopold this year to a premiership down there in the Geelong Footy League. He's done very well.
Yeah, he's a good. From all reports, he's a good man.
He is a good fun fact, Bill. We're here to talk about Cotch, though, so hang around. After the break, we'll talk about Dusty and Dimma as you reflect on the big book that is
From the Heart.
I think we've seen over the past couple of years how close you are with Dusty, but it wasn't always that way as I read through the book.
No, it wasn't. I was probably quick
You
to
read through it, did you?
I'm halfway through. I only got it yesterday. Calm down.
Righto.
It's pretty good reading. Yeah, I suppose when he first got to the club, you know, he had the like-for-like Ben Cousins tattoo on the stomach, and obviously that hadn't worked out all that well for Cuz at the time, and I probably didn't really attach myself or align to someone with that kind of bravado and
Not so clean-cut
picture.
image.
Yeah.
Have you got a tattoo?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
No. Dusty makes up for all mine that I don't have. But then I suppose going on that journey and understanding more and a bit more about his background and building a genuine friendship and relationship, and going through, you know, hard times but also good times together, I learnt that we are very much more connected in many ways, other than just not our appearance. And he taught me a lot of lessons. Like, he's one of those guys that comes across like he doesn't want to engage with a lot of people and so forth, but it's more just the fact that he's quite shy and doesn't really care what people thinks. Well, he tells me that anyway. Yeah, and I think what he taught me most was not to judge a book by its cover, and that was one of the great lessons in that, because I've built many friendships with people that don't live their life the way that I do, but they're some of the greatest relationships that I have.
Also, Dimma, which is an interesting one, because I assume you're very, very close, and then with the marriage breakdown, Dimma's marriage breakdown, that just put a wedge there, did it?
Oh, look, I think it just created some challenges. Obviously, I love Dimma and still have a great relationship with Dimma, along with Danielle and the kids as well. And I suppose for me, it was more just seeing just the challenges that it created for the family. Both Brooke and I looked up to them as, you know, the pinnacle of what the ultimate family looked like.
Yeah.
And that obviously broke down. And, you know, it's not like I go into a whole great bit of depth about their relationship and why it broke down or anything like that in the book, because that's their business, not mine. But, you know, when you build a footy club based around family and the pinnacle of that is different, it can cause some differences. And that was definitely a process that we worked through together and shared a lot of conversations across our time as captain and coach, but also just as mates.
Is there one part of the journey that you've reflected on that you love the most?
I think what I've learned is, as good as the good times are, like, probably the things you talk about most are the hardest times. I think that's what's ultimately made me not just as a player or as a captain or as a leader, but as a human being. And I've learned so many lessons that have, and I think your kids are the greatest teacher, as you would know, in life lessons in general, and so many of the lessons that I've learned through my Richmond journey, and part of that being having the kids on that journey has taught me so much in life, and the way that I can be a better dad or friend or husband in some cases, although, you know, there's times where I'm doing a crap job of that as well.
And there was rumours that Dusty may be going up to the Gold Coast. Did you speak to him about that, or wasn't required? It was all just horseradish?
Look, I think, you know, there's always an element of you that loves the idea of the Gold Coast. You know, obviously warmer weather. Melbourne's winters aren't ideal
Hollywood
sometimes. And I think that there's always that carrot that's being dangled, particularly when someone you love and trust goes up there to to coach the footy club. He has every right to contemplate it. I don't think, he's a very loyal
didn't ask
person.
you for an opinion?
Oh, we had conversations
Right.
around it, yeah. But I think he's pretty passionate and knows that the club's still got some great years ahead of them, and he's got some great footy ahead of him as well. And I think he really does like the idea of making that 300 milestone
10
as a
games
Richmond
off?
player. Yeah, very close. I'm
Yeah.
not sure exactly what the number is, but it'd be pretty special for him to join that club.
You're a very clean-cut, good boy. Someone that you'd love your daughter to marry, wouldn't
Yes.
you? You would love Trent to do that. So how did you go with different characters, blokes that like a beer? You
No,
weren't
Mondays,
a drinker.
no.
And was it true they want you to come out and have a beer with them? And you say, no, I'm sitting home having me cup of tea.
It was always the feedback that I got to be a better leader. I needed to drink more with the boys and be out there and so forth.
Yeah.
But I think when I actually just owned that and said, look, it's just not the way that I love to enjoy my time, but I'll be the first to come and have a coffee with you or enjoy lunch. And I think just being open and honest about that really helped with just building those connections and guys understanding, the why behind the way I live my life, and the fact that we don't all have to be the same to have great relationships. And that took a lot of pressure off, because it was something that I continually wrestled with. Even the feedback that you'd receive from other mentors and so forth, it's like, you're part of a footy club, you have to love a beer and you have to get out there with the boys. Yeah. I'm really proud that it didn't mean that I felt like I had to change who I was to fit in. I stood true to who I was and found different ways to connect with guys on a different level. But those personalities, it was all coming back to having empathy for each of their situations, and the deeper your connections, the better understanding you have of why people live a certain way or make different decisions, and showing that support in that journey was a big part of what I valued as a captain or friend.
The book comes out tomorrow. Now, what are you most after that? What else is coming for you, and what are you most looking forward to now you're retired?
Yeah, well, Bill, you ready?
Oh, no, here we go. Media?
Coffee.
Oh, no, I like the idea of media.
Oh, right,
If you've got a job for me, let me know.
Yes.
That'd be good. The socks.
Oh, no, not more jocks.
The
What are you
positive
gonna
No,
do?
we're actually shifting. We're not just a sock brand. We want to exist and be a big part of everyone's positivity during their day. So there's some things coming with regards to that. We're opening a Pilates and yoga studio in Essendon called Core Plus Studios. So there's plenty around Melbourne, and
there is,
and we're moving into Brisbane as well. So lots of excitement there.
Good. Now, I've just written down some names. I want one-word answers on them, okay?
From me?
No,
One
Trent.
word.
Okay, sorry.
Trent. Jake King.
Thick neck.
That's right, two.
Oh,
I'm happy with
Yeah,
that.
two's okay.
Yeah. Robbie Nahas.
Tiny.
Really?
In stature. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Jack Revolt.
Great mate.
Alex Rance.
Freak of nature.
Freak of nature.
Yeah.
Sean Grigg.
In footy and
yeah,
life.
yeah. Sean Grigg.
All round legend.
Yes.
I'm going to 3. Sorry,
That's all
I've
right.
pushed
No,
the
no, it's
boundaries.
Okay,
I'm
mate.
sorry.
That's okay. Basher Hooley.
I admire Basher and love him.
Yeah. You got any?
No, that's it. All right, for the full sit-down interview of that, you can grab that on the listener app. Hey, Trent, thank you very much. The
Hey,
new
good
book,
on you,
From the
Cotch.
Heart, is available from tomorrow online and in bookstores around the country. Thank you very much for your time, and all the best with what's to come.
Thank you very much for having me, gents.